The tennis legend walked through the gates of the Lindner Family Tennis Center and stopped dead in her tracks. Martina Navratilova, the woman who has seen it all, who has won 59 Grand Slam titles, who has witnessed the evolution of women's tennis for 5 decades, stood frozen in disbelief. The queue stretched for blocks. Fans from across North America had camped out overnight. Filipino flags waved everywhere she looked. The energy was unlike anything she had ever experienced at a WTA 1000 event. Tournament officials were scrambling to open additional sections. The ticket system had crashed at 6 in the morning. And all of this for a 21-year-old who hadn't even played a single point yet. Navratilova turned to her companion and asked a question that would send shockwaves through the tennis establishment. "Is this really happening?" she asked. "Is this really for Eala?" The answer was yes. And the tennis legend could not believe her eyes. The Lindner Family Tennis Center in Mason, Ohio, has played host to the greatest names in tennis history for decades. Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, Serena Williams, Novak Djokovic. The list is a who's who of tennis royalty. And this week, the queen herself arrived. Martina Navratilova, the 18-time Grand Slam singles champion and 59-time Grand Slam champion overall. The woman who redefined women's tennis with her athleticism and grace, walked into the Cincinnati Open expecting the usual. She expected to see world-class tennis. She expected to see the top players competing at the highest level. She expected to see the familiar faces of the WTA Tour's elite. What she did not expect was the frenzy she encountered. A frenzy centered around a 21-year-old from the Philippines. A frenzy that had transformed the Cincinnati Open into something she had never witnessed before. Tournament organizers, who had managed ticket sales for decades and had seen the biggest names in the sport, were still in shock from the ticket rush earlier in the week. The ticket system had crashed because of the overwhelming demand. Organizers had to scramble to accommodate the thousands of fans clamoring for seats. Navratilova, who had flown in to provide commentary for Tennis Channel, had heard about the phenomenon. She had seen the headlines. She had watched Eala's Wimbledon run from afar, where the Filipina had produced her best Grand Slam result by reaching the 4th round and stunning defending champion Iga Swiatek. Earlier in the year, she had told the WTA website that Eala was crafty and a good lefty who used her variety nicely. She had praised the young Filipina's technical knowledge of the game and suggested that being left-handed would be very advantageous. But even she was not prepared for this. The crowds, the flags, the energy, the sheer magnitude of the phenomenon. It was unlike anything she had seen in her decades in the sport. It was, as she would later admit, completely unprecedented. The Eala phenomenon has been building for months, but it reached a fever pitch in Cincinnati. The first round bye that Eala received as the 17th seed in the WTA 1000 event was a testament to how far she had come. Just a year ago, she would have been fighting through qualifying draws or accepting wildcards to get into main draws. Now, she was being seeded in the most prestigious tournaments on the tour. But the bye was not what shocked Navratilova. What shocked her was the reaction. The demand for tickets had been unprecedented. The Mubadala DC Open and National Bank Open organizers had admitted that they had never experienced a sellout like this before. The Toronto tournament had to move Eala's matches to center court because of the ticket demand. And now Cincinnati was experiencing something even more intense. Navratilova, who had witnessed the rise of Martina Hingis, the Williams sisters, Justine Henin, Maria Sharapova, and countless other stars, had never seen a player generate this kind of frenzy this quickly. She had praised Eala earlier, telling the WTA website, "Eala, she is building a whole new craze in Southeast Asia and the Philippines, bringing more fans into tennis." But even she could not have predicted the scale of what was happening. Navratilova had also urged tournament organizers to adapt to the changing demographics of the sport, saying, "I think the organizers need to keep more in mind where the players are from and what the actual fan base is here, because there is massive Filipino audience here in Melbourne, in Australia. So keep that in mind next time you make the schedule." The Filipino diaspora was turning out in numbers that had never been seen before in tennis. Fans were traveling from across North America to watch Eala play. They were filling stadiums, creating an atmosphere that Navratilova herself described as electric. Coco Gauff, who had faced Eala in Dubai earlier in the year, had said, I like that Alex brings a whole new demographic to the WTA Tour. She had also admitted after a match in Dubai, I know you were mostly supporting Alex, but I have to say, it is great to be on a crowded court. I've played this tournament for many years, and to see the stadium full, it means a lot. Navratilova understood. She knew that the WTA needed new markets. It needed new fans. It needed new energy. And Eala was bringing all of that and more. But the tennis legend also knew that building a whole new demographic was not easy. It required authenticity. It required charisma. It required a connection with the fans that went beyond just winning matches. Eala had all of that, and it was working. To understand why Navratilova was so shocked, you need to understand how far Alexandra Eala has come in such a short period of time. Her rise has been nothing short of meteoric. Just over a year ago, Eala was ranked outside the top 100. She was a promising talent, yes. A junior Grand Slam champion. A player with a bright future. But nobody, not even her most ardent supporters, could have predicted what happened next. The breakthrough came at Wimbledon in July 2026, where Eala reached the fourth round for the first time in her career. She defeated defending champion Iga Swiatek in a stunning upset that shocked the tennis world. Navratilova herself analyzed the match on Tennis Channel, pointing out that Eala had mixed up her serves, hitting a lot of body serves into the Swiatek forehand or backhand. She noted that Swiatek could not figure out how to return better serves and was not good emotionally, unable to keep it together. I think the recipe for Eala was to mix up the serves, Navratilova said. Hit a lot of body serves into the Swiatek forehand or backhand, and she just could not figure out how to return better serves. She did not get those break points, and she defended really well. And Iga, quite frankly, was not good emotionally. She was just so up and down. She could not keep it together today. The victory propelled Eala to a career-high ranking of world number 28. Then came the Mubadala DC Open in Washington. Eala was unseeded. She was facing the world number 3 Jessica Pegula in the final. She dropped the first set 4-6. The odds were against her. She could have crumbled. She could have given up. Instead, she won the second set 6-4 and demolished Pegula in the third set 6-0. It was her first WTA Tour title. She became the first Filipino and the first Southeast Asian to win a WTA Tour-level singles title. The victory propelled her to a career-high ranking of world number 20. Then came the Canadian Open in Toronto. Eala extended her winning streak to 7 matches. She dismantled American Alicia Parks 6-1, 4-6, 6-2 in a revenge match. She defeated Katie McNally in a grueling 3-set battle. The tournament had to move her matches to center court because of the ticket demand. Her run ended against Belinda Bencic in the round of 16, with the Swiss player winning 6-4, 6-0. But the damage had been done. Eala had proven that she was not a flash in the pan. She was a legitimate force on the WTA Tour, and she had won the hearts of millions. Now, in Cincinnati, she was the 17th seed in a WTA 1000 event, receiving a first-round bye and preparing for her second-round match. The ticket rush had crashed the system. The crowds had packed the stadium, and Martina Navratilova, the tennis legend who had seen everything, was in awe. As the crowds continued to pour into the Lindner Family Tennis Center, Martina Navratilova took her position at the Tennis Channel booth. She was there to provide commentary and analysis. She was there to share her unparalleled insights into the game. And she could not stop talking about Alex Eala. Navratilova had always been a keen observer of the sport. She had a gift for identifying talent early and understanding what players needed to do to reach the next level. And when it came to Eala, she had plenty to say. Earlier in the year, she had praised Eala's craftiness and her use of variety. She had noted that Eala was a good lefty, a trait that could give her a significant advantage on the tour. She had also been honest about Eala's weaknesses, telling the WTA website, "She needs a bigger serve and bigger kick. She's got the slice down pat. Just believe and hold her ground. She is slight of build, so it's harder for her to absorb all that pace. But I think she can beef up a little and punch up that serve." It was constructive criticism from one of the greatest players of all time, and Eala had taken it to heart. She had been working on her serve, trying to add more power and more variety. But Navratilova also had praise for Eala's mental toughness. After Eala's victory over Iga Swiatek at Wimbledon, Navratilova had analyzed the match on Tennis Channel, noting that Eala had defended really well and that Swiatek had not handled the pressure. Eala, on the other hand, had embraced the moment. She had handled the pressure beautifully, and that, according to Navratilova, was the mark of a true champion. Now, watching Eala navigate the frenzy in Cincinnati, Navratilova was even more impressed. She saw a player who was not overwhelmed by the attention. She saw a player who was thriving on the energy of the crowd. She saw a player who was built for the big stage. But she also saw areas for improvement. The serve still needed work. The consistency needed to improve. The ability to recover from tough losses needed to be refined. Navratilova, who had won 59 Grand Slam titles, understood that the journey to greatness was a marathon, not a sprint. She knew that Eala was still young. She knew that the Filipina had time. But she also knew that the expectations were growing, and she hoped that Eala would be able to handle them. The tennis legend had seen many promising talents rise and fall. She had seen the pressure of fame destroy careers. She had seen the weight of expectations crush young players. But she believed in Eala. She believed that the Filipina had what it took to reach the top of the sport. As the Cincinnati Open continued, all eyes were on Alexandra Eala. The 17th seed had a prime opportunity to make a deep run. Her first round bye meant she would be fresh for her second round match. The ticket rush had been a huge success. The crowds were massive. The energy was electric. And the tennis world was watching. The tournament was serving as her final major preparation before the U.S. Open, the year's last Grand Slam, which begins on August 30th in Flushing Meadows, New York. Eala was sitting at world number 20, with a golden opportunity to jump even higher. A strong performance in Cincinnati could push her closer to the top 10. Navratilova knew that the next few weeks would be crucial for Eala's development. She needed to prove that she could perform consistently at the highest level. She needed to show that she could bounce back from losses like the one to BOMBSHELL in Toronto. She needed to demonstrate that she was not just a flash in the pan. Eala herself remained focused and grounded despite the frenzy. It's an amazing experience. It's nice to see that the Filipino community is really showing up and enjoying tennis. Hopefully, it will help grow the sport as well and, in the end, give them something new and joyful experience, Eala said. She added, Maraming salamat sa mga kababayan natin sa lahing ginawa niyo mula sa Washington hanggang Toronto, at sa lahing gagawin niyo pa parati, kayong sumasuporta at nagdarasal. Parati kayong nagpupuyat kaya tuloy lang akong magtatrabaho para sa inyo. Her message was clear. It's an honor to represent my country, and I'm super grateful for all the love and recognition I'm getting. Navratilova was confident. She had seen the talent. She had seen the mental toughness. She had seen the fan support. And she knew that Eala had the potential to become one of the biggest stars in tennis history. The tennis legend could not believe what she had witnessed in Cincinnati. The ticket rush, the crowds, the frenzy. It was unprecedented. It was remarkable. And it was all because of one young woman from the Philippines. Alexandra Eala had arrived. And she was not going anywhere. Eala kuend pe line ad Crni High. From the cracked courts of Quezon City to the bright lights of Cincinnati, Alexandra Eala has proven that champions don't just come from traditional tennis nations. They come from the heart. And her heart belongs to the Philippines.